Hi there, today we're going to be doing some shoulder strengthening work. So if you want, you can start in this kneeling position like me or standing up on your feet if that's more comfortable. I'm just going to mobilise the shoulders a little bit first before we get into the exercises. So the neck and the shoulders are obviously very closely connected, so the first thing I want you to do is just to stretch out the neck a little bit. So if you bring your left ear down towards your left shoulder, just to stretch out that right side of your neck. Now don't push it too hard, just move gently and carefully when you're stretching the neck, especially if you know that you carry tension here and suffer from tightness. So then we're just going to turn the head slightly so that you are looking down towards your shoulder. And this just brings the stretch then down to another area of the neck. Again, moving carefully and gently and slowly, not forcing anything. Lovely, and then come back into the center and then over to the other side. So your right ear drops down towards the right shoulder and you feel the stretch down the left side of your neck. Good. And then just turning the head slightly so you are looking down at your shoulder and feel the stretch in the other part of your neck, more around this front part of the neck. Lovely. Good, and then just come back to the center and we'll start into some nice backwards rolls of the shoulders. So if you just lift them up all the way up to the ears, then slide them back and drop them down. You might feel or hear a few clicks or crunches. Sometimes that can be quite a satisfying feeling. But again, just move slowly, carefully, gently, not forcing anything. Good. Okay, then we're just going to focus on our left shoulder. So put your left hand up onto your shoulder and just start to draw little circles backwards. And then forwards. Good, then we'll swap over to the other side. So circles backwards first. And then forwards. Lovely, now both hands on your shoulders and do circles backwards. Good, and then circles forwards. Lovely. Okay, then moving just with your left hand again, nice big full circles. But just paying attention that when you lift the arm up, you don't hunch your shoulder up, so still keeping the shoulder down away from the ear. And then nice and wide out behind. Lift and down. So you're trying to lift the arm without lifting the shoulder. Good. And then circles forwards. Good, two more. Lovely, and then the right arm, lift without hunching the shoulder up, circle back. Good. I'm getting lots of clicks and crunches. 2 more backwards and then 5 forwards. Good, so we'll move to forwards now. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then finally, both arms together, circle back. Watching we don't lift the shoulders up to the ears, so keep thinking of all that length in the neck. Good, and then 5 coming forwards. Good, last 2. Okay, brilliant. So your shoulders should feel a little looser now and a little warmer, hopefully. Brilliant. Okay, now we're going to move down over onto our hands and knees. So just bring yourself down onto your hands and knees nice and carefully. And we're going to go into some press-ups. So there's different options for your starting position. You can either be in this box position, so with your knees underneath your hips, or you can bring the knees a little further back and drop the hips down so you're in this diagonal line, or you can come up onto your toes and drop the hips so you're in your plank position. So I'm just going to stick with the box position for now, and we bring the arms out slightly wider than your shoulders, so probably just to the edge of your mat would be perfect. Okay, so on your breath in, we're going to lower the whole body down, so you're letting the whole weight of your body fall forwards, and then on your out breath, push up and come up into a nice arch up across the shoulders, tuck the chin into the chest and lift back towards the knees. And repeat that again. Breathe in and out. Arch up. Good, and again. Breathe in and out. Lovely. That nice little arching of the shoulders in between just adds a little bit more shoulder mobility work to this, to the press up. Good. Breathe in on the way down, elbows going wide. Breathe out as you push up and arch across the shoulders. Good. About 5 more. We're aiming for 10 to 12. And try to let your whole body press down forward. But don't worry if you're not getting the whole way down to the ground. We'll do 1 more. Perfect. Good, and then just push back, bum down towards the heels. Bring your arms around either side of your legs and just rest in this nice shell stretch for a moment, just to allow the shoulders to recover. Perfect. Okay, good. Now, back into this box position. This time your hands are underneath your shoulders. Now spread the fingers really nice and wide so that when you press down, it's not all pressing down onto your wrists. You're pressing into your fingers and all of your hands as well. Now we want to curl the toes as we're just going to hover our knees a couple of inches off the floor. So a nice big breath in, and then on your out breath, just lift those knees a little bit off the floor and allow your body weight to transfer forwards onto your hands and your shoulders. Brilliant. Spread the fingers really nice and wide and just breathe here. Now try not to lift yourself up too much. Keep yourself in this box position, but just with the knees slightly lifted. Good, a few more breaths. Keep breathing. Good. Last 2 breaths. And release. Good. Okay. Just a little bit of circling through the wrists. Inwards and outwards. Perfect. Lovely. Now we're going to come down into a side plank. So we're going to be pressing up onto our elbow and forearm. So if you get your elbow just slightly further forwards than your shoulder, because when you lift up, your shoulder will move a little bit forwards. What we don't want is that the elbow is closer into the body than the shoulder, because that puts the shoulder too far forwards and puts horrible pressure on your shoulders. So you want to keep the elbow under the shoulder or wider than the shoulder. Okay, we're going to start by coming up onto our knees just. So if you can kind of have your knees in line with your elbow. Okay, now use this hand to help you lift up. Nice big breath in. And then on your out breath, just lift up onto your knees and then lift the arm up, pointing up towards the ceiling. Now this is also working this underneath obliques, but also really strengthening the shoulder that you're lying on. If you need to, keep this free hand down on the floor to support you and just hold here for a few more breaths. Now if you want to, we can progress up to extended legs where you're pressing up onto the side of your feet instead of your knees. It's the same idea. Big breath in, then on your out breath, lift up and lift the arm up towards the ceiling. But you choose whichever level works for you. If you're more comfortable down on your knees, then just stick to the knees. Or if you want to do a mixture of the two, go on ahead and do that. There's no right or wrong. It's just your progressions, and you do whatever feels good for you and your body on the day that you choose to do this video. Good, last couple of breaths. Brilliant. And release. Now, roll over, or do, a little counter stretch. So just, you might sort of instinctively do this as well when you come out of your side plank. But just come over into a little sort of counter side bend, just to stretch out that side of the body that you've been working in that side plank. Perfect. Now we roll over and do the other side. So as well, if you need a little bit of extra padding underneath the elbow, feel free to grab a wee towel or a cushion or double over your mat. In fact, I might do that. Just roll it over for a little bit of extra support and softness. Okay, so we start on our knees, big breath in, and then when you're ready, breathe out, get those knees back in line with your elbow, and try to lift the other arm, and if you can, look up towards those fingertips. And just hold, keep holding, trying to keep the hips lifted. Good. If you want to, you can extend the legs and come up into a full side plank, resting on the sides of your feet. Again, try looking up towards the fingertips. Again, mix and match if you want to. Come back down onto your knees if you need to. Push back up. Try to always avoid this upper shoulder. I can feel it happening in myself, creeping up towards the ear. Good, keep holding. Final few breaths. 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Push up and come into your little counter stretch. Perfect. to swing around and come down onto our back. So just roll yourself down slowly and carefully and mindfully onto your back. And then lay your legs out nice and long. And then on your in-breath, we're just going to lift the arms up, bringing them up overhead if you can, but without letting those ribs flare too much. So keep thinking about the back of the ribs being connected to the floor. Then on your out breath, bring the arms back down. Breathing in, up and over. Breathing out, lowering back down. A couple more of these, breathing in. And out. Breathing in. And out. One more. And out. Lovely. Okay, then we're bringing the feet in again and just shuffle over so you're rolling back over onto your side and coming back onto your hands and knees. So bring the hands a little further forward than the shoulders this time. We're going to start off with that little hover of the knees off the floor again. So fingers are spread nice and wide as we press everything down into the full hands. Then just keep lifting the knees even higher, pressing the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then eventually try and press those heels down towards the floor. Good. Now think about creating length between, my top's coming up into my mouth, creating length between your tailbone and the crown of your head. Good. Okay, then do gentle little wiggles of the hips from side to side, just giving you a little extra stretch down the back of each leg. Good, and then bending each knee one at a time. Good, and then just come forwards again, coming back down onto your hands and knees. Brilliant. Okay, then we're going to do a little bit of a shoulder stretch with the thread the needle. So breathing in, prepare. Then on your out breath, slide that left hand through the right arm, bending the right elbow, bringing your left shoulder to the floor and sliding that left hand through over to the right hand side. Good. Then swap over to the other side. Your right hand slides through, bring the right shoulder down onto the floor and bend your left elbow. Okay. And again, left arm, breathing out. Breathe in, come back. Breathe out, right shoulder comes to the floor. Breathe in, come back. One more on each side. And come back. And the right side. Good, and back. And then just push the bum back. Reach forwards with the arms, coming into a really nice stretch, relaxation position. Bring your forehead down towards the floor. And then just walking the arms off the mat over to the right hand side so you get a good stretch underneath the shoulder or underneath the arm of the left side. Hold it for a couple of breaths, stretching further into it if you can manage. And then walking the hands over to the left hand side. Feeling that lovely stretch right up into the underarm on the right hand side. Lovely. Then coming back to your starting position, kneeling on the ground or standing if that was more comfortable for you. And just doing some nice backwards rolls of both the shoulders. Good, and then fingertips onto the shoulders, doing one arm at a time, using the fingers to keep the shoulder down, away from the ear, as you do these nice circles backwards to begin with. One more each side backwards. And then forwards. And then both together backwards. And both together forwards. Lovely. Then just interlace your fingers together behind your back and pull the arms away, giving you a nice stretch over the chest. And a tightening together of the shoulders in your back, towards the spine. And then pulling the arms away in front, rounding that upper section of your back, pulling the chin in towards the chest. Lovely. And that's you finished. So lots of good strength work for the shoulders and lovely circles for all the mobility. I hope you enjoyed and see you again soon.